Every power we hold that we have now is transient. Nkrafo say Mokwaya, ni Mokwaba. Obi Beko ene. Where is President Rawlings today? Where is President Akufo today? Where is President Atta today? Where is President John Mahama today? In the next coming month, at the end of this year, after this year, where will President Nana Addo Dankwa be? So it doesn't matter how long. Even President Rawlings, who for nearly 20 years ruled Ghana, no. There was a time in his life, na Otifia, Moko Obi Amfani Nyeshi. Nipa be to me ki kan sam hu bi tre President Rawlings anka bra na one element no anka obe hu wani. But what we need to do is to understand that leadership is responsibility. Leadership is responsibility. I was privileged to study to the highest level. I'm an economist by profession. I've also had the privilege to advise some presidents around the world. There are some presidents that love me for what I am. And the fact that I'm an academic and I'm an intellectual, they relate to me. I also specialize in international relations. In terms of diplomacy, I've lectured it, I still lecture it. I keep saying that politics and economics are borrowed language. Human beings are the same everywhere, but politics is borrowed. Economics is a borrowed language. What politics is in America is not what politics is in Ghana. In London, where I've lived in many years, me and my wife, we've never voted one party before. When Barbara is voting for the Labours, maybe I'll vote for the Conservative. Maybe if I'm voting for Conservative, for want for the better way, to be voting for Labour. Because we can have different opinions, but we are married. For 34 years, we've been under the same domain. My wife has worked in a very high level. Those in Ghana who knows her knows that Barbara has worked in a high level of capacity, the United Kingdom. The many times I've been to Beckham Palace, Downing Street, House of Lords, House of Commons because of my wife. Just said me, Manu Yedin Kakra, no, this me. Or no, yeah, calm Kakra. Timikwa, media press, or Bisana San Mekasa, or no Kasa. So when they published, so Dr. Tete was accompanied by his wife. The truth was that Dr. Tete rather accompanied his wife. Barbara went to a Breakers from Form 1 to Form 5, and then went to Accra Academy for sixth form. And she was the first girl to become a school prefect in Accra Academy. And from there, she went to the Westminster University to continue. So you can imagine, she went to London when she was a teenager. And then she also had the privilege to work with the government of Britain. It's no secret. So we had that exposure. But we realized what we forget sometimes in Ghana is that democracy is not war. Democracy is not vindictiveness. If you look at leadership in Ghana and most part of Africa, they are not Senipa. Senipa no yɛ NDC. Na wonyɛ NDC a ne obeye bia mfata nyɛ wo fɛ. Nipa no nso yɛ NPP. Na wonyɛ NPP a ne obeye bia nti ya na ɛsɛ yɛ. But what I keep saying is that we make leadership, election, democracy, politics becomes war, and it's not necessary. Because we are losing sight of transparency, we are losing sight of the fairness, we're also losing sight of the decorum, and we're also losing sight that democracy is supposed to bring us together, not to divide us. We're even losing sight of the system, and separation of power is not there anymore. We don't know what the executive stands for. We don't know what the legislature, which is parliamentary, stands for. We don't know what the judiciary stands for. Then we don't even have checks and balances. And so we make leadership very difficult. What we seem to lose sight of is that, Katie, every power we hold that we have now is transient. Nkrafo say Mokwaya, ni Mokwaba. Obi Beko ene. Where is President Rawlings today? Where is President Akufo today? Where is President Atta today? Where is President John Mahama today? In the next coming month, at the end of this year, after this year, where will President Nana Addo Dankwa be? So it doesn't matter how long. Even President Rawlings, who for nearly 20 years ruled Ghana, no. There was a time in his life, na Otifia, Moko Obiang Fani Nyeshi. Nipa be to me ki kan sem ho bi kyerɛ President Rawlings anka bra na one element no anka obe ho wani. But what we need to do is to understand that leadership is responsibility. And that responsibility means do your will, do your work selflessly, serve your people, serve your nation. Leadership, like what we are all doing. What you are doing now, Kate, is leadership. You are hosting me. You are asking me, you are not being rude to me. So why should I be rude to you? You are hosting me, you are making me feel human being. So me too, I'm making you feel human being. When we leave here today, we are taking pictures. No? We take pictures as brothers. You might have an opinion about me, and I might have an opinion about you. But that should not mean, say, that opinion should override the respect we have for ourselves. And that is the place we miss as a people in this nation. I think this election will have no choice but to be peaceful. Ghanaians have woken up. Yanyani. The die kakra yanyani. It is to say elections will not be based on t-shirts I would demand. Yes, a car would demand me. Binim Krabegis comedy in so too. I remember I said when we were young, the General Eski called election. Or says Kappa maybe or two abano. Nipa bakupe ne vote to ho. So General Eski fee no. Na nipa 30 na ye juma of ye ho. Ni yerin su ho. Ono anso ho. And said the other way na yeka. And so it is not how much you campaign. People are going to be voting this time on values. I have had a chance to meet both President John Mahama and Vice President Bawumia. In fact, they are all my friends. I'm done with one. And we know said the two of them, no, one will become a president. I mean, this is a very heavy thing I'm saying. Who be some say wine power mini. But mean time shen come, mean to say Roland and who would date to see. But me say meaning. Oh, say time in so America. Time no so America. But you I go for Hujani. Minim say no be win no ebe na. No be winning so wo yiri. So we have great leaders. I know there are other people who are also standing for it. You don't believe it. Somebody like Alan Chairmantin, my very good friend. For Onimi Kankran or Kankran Pa. I know Kwame Cheddar. I know Bediako. I know him. He is like our son. He's a young man. And I know who else? Dr. Ayariga. I know him very well. We used to even say Ayarikov. Ariga. I know, in fact, I know them. By the grace of God, Ghana is a very small place. So everybody's connected. And I must say, there's none of them who does not know me. Like in my case, no. There is no Ghanaian president I've not prayed for before. I have a relationship with all of them. And I want to maintain that one. I want to be like Billy Graham. Billy Graham in America related to every leader. I love that spirit. To me, who wins election doesn't matter to me. It must be somebody who is Ghanaian minded. I want to be a patriotic person. I want to be a nationalistic person. Ghana who hear me saying NDC ni MPP. NDC ni MPP de moko aba ni moko aya. NDC abada eno moko e. NPP ba no muso koe. NDC ba bi no mo koe. NPP abaso. So mokoya but all means so be change anyway. Obi no be about. So that's normal. The most important thing is that this election should be transparent. This election to have some decorum. This election should be fair. This election should be based on the ballot box. This election must not be rigged. This election should also show that Ghana has come of age from 1992 till now. We've been in this party politics system. This election should prove to the whole world, said the Ghanaian that were supposed to be forebearers of Africa, the Kwame Nkrumah Ghana, no, the Obecha Bitemte Lantern, the Akufo Addo Ghana, no, the Rawlings Ghana, no, I'm not even talking about the big six. Oh, okay. You understand? Akwaje, you understand? That's Ghana, no. That is said the independence of Ghana will be meaningless unless it's totally linked with the entire community of Africa, no. That Ghana, no, should come back again. That we should have an election that is not for vigilantism. We should have an election that somebody will not sit in the studio and say some silly word. Now, as I done it, I have been to Rwanda several times. I went there when they were in a problem. And you don't want to see that. And I keep saying, sir, there are a lot of people today who are making certain statements and allowing themselves to be used. Mimi woman man were London. And children were born in London. The whole British passport is no secret. So if something happens like that, maybe me and them, we can go. But I'm thinking of the person who has nowhere to go. And who hear me, papa. The same so I can tell you, sir, I enjoy Ghana more than London. I enjoy Ghana more than London. And so let's get Ghana to be a peaceful place and to be a safe haven. And we should do politics that we call matured policy. We as a people in Ghana must have matured politics. NDC leadership and NPP leadership should be able to condemn anybody who creeps with the culture of insults. The moment the language is not a language that is acceptable in some Ghanaian, they say Ghana for Mwadi. And most of your colleagues in the media, Mwadi. Akwada kitu ho pampers crash na or yeah opinion. How dare you insult President Kufuor? How dare you insult President Nana Danko Akufo Addo? How dare you insult President Atta? How dare you insult President Rawlings? How dare you insult President John Dramani Mahama? How dare? How dare you insult somebody who maybe a wadro no be na obusi amokrapo no obi in fact they cannot get there. In the name of politics, no, not penny, now we insulting no. It's ungodly and simple. So we need to check that one. We have a responsibility. And Katie, this responsibility is a collective one. We need to come together in a massive united front to get the peace we want in Ghana. And you know who is needed for that front? The chief is needed. The chief imam is needed. The Christian council is needed. The judiciary leadership is needed. The Speaker of Parliament is needed. The President is needed. Unfortunately, whether we like it or not, Lawrence Tete is needed. And Kwame Tanko is also needed. And if we all can come together in a massive united front, Ghana, Betumpo. God's still in the business of choosing leaders for. In fact, without God, there cannot be a leader. I feel very sad when people think it's their propaganda that makes them leadership. In fact, it is only an unwise person who thinks so. Look at the history of Ghana. Where was President Rawlings picked from to be able to head Ghana in 1979? From where? Yeah. No, he was in a prison. Yeah, in the prison. Yeah. And God brought him out. And he became a leader. By the time he was facing court martial, he was supposed to have been killed. Yeah. And junior ranks picked him in June 4th. Because at that time, people like Osajini Boachijan and others. They stood. I know him very well. How they go. He died not long ago. We stayed in London together. He was in exile in London for a long time before he relocated back to Ghana. And they brought him, and he became a leader. If you've ever followed the story of President John Kofi Diewo Ajekum Kufuor, he was also many times in prison, arrested, castigated, put there. President Kufuor was one of the youngest in his early 20s when he became Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs in Ghana. And then coincidentally, President Kufuor even served under Rawlings administration as a deputy minister. He went through his own challenges. Nobody knew, say one day President Kufuor will become a president. But Enyame Pea will be a president. President Atta Mills, at the time he was going to become the president of Ghana, we all knew he was not feeling very well. If you look at the campaign at that time, you look at President Nanado, and you look at President Tana. Yes. How did he win? Yes, because kings, priests, prophets, and leadership are enthroned by God, not man. Internet say it is not what our eye sees, but what God does. Somebody can go into the ballot box. There are people who, if you trace back and you do a research, whose ballot papers were disqualified, you'll be shocked. All condemning one Jimson, oh, what ticket wrong one. Oh, there another one. If you know a professor whose ballot paper has been disqualified, and now intellectual, will be shocked. Say, Obia na die hard. Oko ticket. President Nanado Dankwa did some. Oko Odododiodio. He was speaking of the Diodio. His final address of the Diodio. Nilante Bannerman and Nilante Vanderpool. I know the two of them very well because I was born there. I was born at Jamestown. So Nilante Vanderpool is like a younger brother to me. Nilante Vanderpool is like a younger Bannerman's land. And then President Nanado Dankwa said, "Inti adiano monfontuma Nilante Vanderpool, monfontuma Nilante Vanderpool. Sa baku de monfontuma Nilante Vanderpool. O kambe se 3 times. Now etia na so papa." But Bannerman not in Ojana name no. In the end, no, he became a campaign manager for Vanderpool. Vanderpool won hands down. So ballot nyami nedima. And if you be sadie no na yasom nyami ye and rely on God, that there's one thing I'm seeing in this current breed of politicians that I like. They are respecting the church. I don't care what anybody concludes. They're respecting the church. 4 days today, President Nicola to some of us, they called us personally to meet us. The apostolic fathers and apostolic leadership, we met President John Mahama. How did we come there? When the man himself called some of us personally, we felt respected. How would you feel like? You get a call, hello, this is John Mahama. Reverend, good morning. We want to meet a few of us. We went. We all went. So by the time I realized, Archbishop Duncan Williams was there, Apostle General was there, Christian Council leadership was there, this one was there, this was there, we met. And I know Dr. Bawumia is also doing the same. So that aspect of leadership, I don't know how people read into it, but it makes me see, say, the religious leadership in Ghana now is being respected. As against the former where people just speak, and as I say, so you can't drink. And so I am believing God, say, God himself will choose a leader for us. And let me continue with even what I was saying earlier. Say, so President Atta Mills became a president when everybody thought at that time it was going to be Nanado. On one hand, I believed, I heard a joke that time in Ghana said, na shock. Then President John Dramani Mahama went to sleep as a vice president, who then didn't have authority in NDC power because there were some generals. But in the morning, the biggest shock he had in his life is that His Excellency President Atta is dead. So the lot fell on him. If anybody has told him the night he was going to sleep, that by the time he's going to sleep again, he'll be sleeping as the president of Ghana, he will say that is a false prophecy. But that's what happened. Nobody really saw the line well. Only few of us maybe might have seen it. Say, at that time, no, President John Mahama was losing the election and another won election. And for 2 terms, he's been the president. Now tell me, all this, look, from Kwame Nkrumah's time until Nanado's time today, there's no president we have had that is not God. Look about this way. And I'm a student of history, a student of international relations, and a student of politics. So I try to look at things scientifically, draw a scientific analysis, and I've realized, say, so come next year, God Himself. You also say, and somebody's from the north, and somebody's from Asante, and somebody say, hey, trust me, Obia Yobia. Nyame na say na say I do a time so say wo pel say wo pel say wo pel say wo pel don't so onara no yohini say wo pel onara no yohini say wo pel onara no yohini Yesu Christo no yohini. That is why they must embedded it into God now. Or we read because you can even be close to the election and have stroke. You can be close to election and have stroke. 6 months before the following election for President Atta, he died. Can you use a dead man to become a president? No. You can have stroke. You can have heart attack. You can have something. So it doesn't matter whether you are young or old. So let's put our trust in Him, and anything we want, He will protect us.
Poku TV.